Hi, this is Dodger and you're watching my show. I have a monstrous headache. I've had it since last night and then I woke up this morning and it was even worse. But before we go on, I need to establish a couple of ground rules. Don't fill up my comment section with like, maybe you should drink more water. It's probably a caffeine headache. Oh, it's the sound waves from Eurovision. They're coming and disrupting your brain. Oh, it all makes sense now. But anyway, we're gonna make a news video anyway, and if it feels like I'm powering through something, I'm sorry. I'm gonna still try to get all of my feels in there. For our first piece of news, Eurovision. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, Eurovision. For our first piece of news, let's talk about Magicka Wizard Wars. So it's been in early access for a little bit now. It's actually going to be an open free beta very soon. May 27th will get you all of that awesome wizarding action that you crave. I actually still haven't played it. I really loved Magicka. I thought that Magicka was a fantastic game, and I've heard good things about Magicka Wizard Wars, but at the same time I haven't heard a lot about Magicka Wizard Wars. Does that make sense? Like, people play it and they say, it's good. And I'm like, I guess that's information. Either way, May 27th, open free beta, so get on that if you wanted to try it out and see what it's like. I will certainly be there. But I swear to God, if you get usernames in this one, which I'm sure you do, if I log into one more game where all of my possible screen names are taken, gonna lose my mind. The Sims 4 is going to be considered a far more hardcore game in Russia than really anywhere else. It is receiving an 18 and up rating because it is harmful to the health and development of children. Now, they don't have any specific instances on there, but you can see like what they're striking it for, and one of them makes me laugh. Okay, hold on. Let's just read this. First is encourages children to commit acts that endanger their lives. Okay. Second is desire to use narcotics, psychotropics, and/or intoxicants. Okay, fair enough. Justifying illegal behavior. Okay, fine. But then, pornographic imagery and information promoting unconventional sexual relationships. Russia. Russia. You need to leave the homosexuals alone. Like everything else, sure, fine. If they had said, oh, there's like some sexual situational stuff happening that makes us uncomfortable, I would have been like, okay, fine. I mean, kids eventually need to know that sex is a thing. But that's fine, I get it. But no, they're not giving it like a 13 and up rating. They're giving it an 18 and up rating because those immoral relationships that are being depicted, whew, my goodness. Obviously there is a huge difference between throwing people in jail for being gay and saying this game should probably have a higher rating because in our country gay marriage isn't as accepted. Sure, fine. But they do throw people in jail for being gay. You know? Anyway, so if you're in Russia and you're playing Sims 4 and somebody makes fun of you, you can be like, whoa, hold up, it has an 18 and up rating, okay? For any of you who've been wondering what exactly Oculus is going to use all of that Facebook fliff on, they've figured it out. Good old Brendan, CEO of Oculus, has decided that they are going to move forward on creating a virtual reality MMO. Not only that, not only a virtual reality MMO, but a virtual reality MMO that is designed for up to 1 billion users. So my first thought was Ready Player One, and then my second thought was Sword Art Online, and then my third thought was Log Horizon? At this point, this is a tale as old as time. And it rarely goes well. This is like when people were starting to jokingly say, oh man, when we start making cyborgs, we're gonna have to worry about them taking over a la the Matrix, am I right? And now, we're making cyborgs that understand things and are intelligent, and the jokes are turning into actual concern. That's what this MMO is gonna be like, you guys. Oculus is gonna be like, look, we can't make it now, but we're working towards that. We wanna make a VR MMO, and then there's gonna be some sort of strange magical thing that happens, and everybody's gonna get trapped in the game, and then if you get disconnected from the game, you're all gonna die. What I'm saying is, these people need to watch more anime. On our last show, I believe, we talked about the Eve monument that was created in Reykjavik and how awesome it is. So of course it took no time at all, like days, for somebody to deface the monument. And by deface we just mean they cross out a name. Poor user Zenuria got tweeted being like, you're welcome, everybody else on Eve crossed out this dummy's name. And what seemed like a harmless joke at the time turned it into a big old thing. CCP, the creators of Eve, got so angry. It is an insult to the entire community and is clearly the work of a person who believes virtual behavior is a valid reason to make a real-life personal attack on someone and deface public property. We will not tolerate this. So, then who did it? Through lots of help from the EVE community who took this up as a personal thing, they have found 4 people who are responsible for this prank, 3 of whom have been banned completely. They are out of the EVE universe, they are out of the Dust universe entirely, and blacklisted from any future events. There is a 4th person who was involved but didn't do it, I guess, and so that person got a 6-month ban, but they will be allowed back. They are also blacklisted from any fan events though. CCP isn't going to give us the names of the people who did this because, much like with the rest of their community, they don't believe at all in bullying. So, you know, inside of the game, you got a lot of free will. You can do really whatever you want, but within the community there is a requirement of respect. So even though these 4 people did something wrong, we're never gonna know who they are, and I kinda respect that. And although it has been resolved in the EVE world, just blacklisting and banning them does not fix the monument. So they've said, yes, we are going to pursue getting that fixed with the people involved, but we won't know any details about that as well. If you've been on the internet much the last couple of days, you've probably heard all of the hullabaloo about Tomodachi World. Now to catch some of you up, Tomodachi World is a game that was released in Japan quite a while ago and is going to be released in North America, where it takes your Miis from the Miiverse and puts them inside of a game, as well as plenty of other Miis that you know, like your friends' Miis and celebrity Miis and whatever else. It puts all of them inside of that game, and then you specify some things like personality traits, and then it just lets them loose in the world and they do whatever they want. So when it was released in Japan, everybody got really excited because there were same-sex relationships happening. But then Japan was like, wait, no, we didn't mean for that to happen. We're gonna patch this and fix it. So it turns out it wasn't actually like a thing in the game. It was just people making Miis that looked like men, but making them female, and then the 2 men would like fall in love and whatever. But then it like stirred up a whole bunch of controversy because it was like, well, what would have been so bad about letting people have same-sex relationships? Like, it went from articles saying, oh, Nintendo's being so progressive for Japan, and then going, oh, they really don't want that in the game. So now it's coming to North America. They've specified very clearly this is only going to be male-female relationships, only male-female marriages. And again, it has come to a head and turned into a big conversation, like what would be so bad about that? And of course Nintendo's response was, we're just trying to make like a fun, quirky game. It doesn't have to be like a big political, social commentary, okay? Which might seem like a really callous response, but we kind of have to look at Japan in general. When Animal Crossing came out, there was another similar conversation that happened where it was like, why can't I only be a white/Japanese looking person? Essentially, why can I only have white skin? Which, yeah, that's something that absolutely should have been employed, but you can also look at the people who are running Nintendo of Japan and say, there is not a whole lot of color there. It's an oversight. It's something that they didn't even think about, and that's sad, but it's also understandable. It's very similar in this game, I believe, where they just didn't even think of it as being an issue, right? But it becomes a much different issue when it comes to a place like North America, where we are currently trying to normalize those feelings of like, a same-sex relationship is just as valid. That is our current fight, or one of them. And in America right now, I think marriage is very iconic for the gay rights movement in general. It's like being able to have same-sex marriages across the entire country is a goal. It's something very iconic, totemic even. So to say to somebody, we know you've had this Mii in the Miiverse for a long time across many platforms and it represents you. We're going to take that and put it into a game where you will have no control over whether or not your Mii will fall in love with a woman and marry that woman. That understandably makes some people really awkward. Like, why can't I can't even avoid that marriage? Like, I can't even just be on my own? And one of the other arguments is, well, if we have same-sex relationships in this game, then that's another thing that you're going to have to like specify. Like, in the starting screen, you'll have to be like, are you gay, bi, or straight? That sort of a thing. And it's like, well, is that such a big thing to like put in there? Like, I get that it would take a lot of time now, putting this game in another country, it's just like not worth it to change that. but in the future, can you at least promise us that you'll try? I know that in the comment section today, some of you are going to agree with me, some of you are going to disagree with me, some people will say it's not a big deal, and some people will say it's a much bigger deal than that. And that's perfectly fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinions. But for me, my bottom line is I understand. I totally understand how this happened. I understand that it can't be fixed at this point, that it would mean taking the game apart. And that's perfectly fine. But I need to know that when we say, hey, this is something that we'd like out of your games in the future, the response isn't going to be, you need to settle down. Nintendo of America has come out and said, in the future, if we make a sequel, it will be more inclusive. We promise. But that is specifically from Nintendo of America, and I don't necessarily believe that that is going to reign over the feelings of the company at large. As a final bit of news, it's not necessarily going to be news, it's more going to be, here are some resources for you. Right now, net neutrality is a big issue. It's been a big issue for a long time, but right now a lot of people are talking about it because they are doing things a bit differently. So FCC is trying to like ruin everything. I don't even know. They're messing up. They're messing up a lot. They're tripping over their own banana peels. But this time, they have given us more of a voice than we've had in the past. I am going to link in the description to a lot of different videos and articles and things that are going to give you more information so that you can inform yourself on the situation and what's happening. Then it's going to be very, very important for you to open up a new email and send one to openinternet@fcc.gov. Openinternet@fcc.gov is where the FCC is putting all of the emails pertaining to our feelings, anyone's feelings on net neutrality. Every email that is sent is going in the Open Internet Rule docket, which is where the FCC is putting all of their files on this topic. They're going to read all of them and ascertain whether or not the public agrees with them, which obviously we don't, but they need physical evidence of that, and so that's what these emails are for. If you don't care, that's really sad, and I think that maybe you should look into it a bit more because I think you would care if you knew more about it, but if you care and you just weren't sure what to do before now, you should look into this. Absolutely, because every email is important, and it might not feel like it, but it is. Net neutrality is essentially the issue of whether or not you want corporations and ISPs controlling what you do or do not see, and at what speed you do or do not see it. It will affect indie games, it will affect startups, it will affect everything. It's very important. So please, 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 please take a minute, go look into it, and write an email. It would be very important. Anywho, that is my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope you guys had an amazing week, and I will talk to you again next weekend. Okay, bye-bye. Mwah. Eurovision.